What happens when a mother's fight for her children collides with the power of a thousand-year-old institution? February 12th, 2026, a date that would mark the final unraveling of the most controversial royal marriage in modern history. This isn't just about a divorce, it's about legacy, power, and two children caught in the crossfire of an empire that never forgives, and a mother who refuses to disappear quietly. The morning started like any other in Montecito, California. Coffee brewing, ocean breeze drifting through open windows. But at exactly 9:14 in the morning, Greenwich Mean Time, Meghan Markle's legal team filed a claim that would send shockwaves through Buckingham Palace and beyond. The target? Frogmore Hill, a sprawling 72-acre estate nestled in the heart of the Cotswolds. Not just any property. A Grade 2 listed Georgian manor with royal-funded equestrian centers, vineyard parcels, and a legacy that stretched back generations. This was a piece of England itself, valued at nearly £20 million, and Meghan wanted it. Her lawyer, celebrity attorney Cher Tilden, didn't mince words in the filing. She called it a family legacy, not an instrument of punishment. The claim argued that Queen Elizabeth herself had verbally promised the estate to Harry and his family before 2021, a commitment made in quieter times when the couple still attended family dinners and christenings. But here's where it gets complicated. This wasn't just about bricks and mortar. This filing came exactly 72 hours after the palace had issued what insiders called the nuclear option. A sweeping declaration that stripped the Sussex family of every remaining royal privilege, every legal honor, and most devastatingly, their custodial rights to Archie and Lilibet. The timing wasn't accidental. Nothing in this story ever is. Within 3 hours, the palace fired back. The response was cold, precise, and left no room for negotiation. No formal or informal commitment was made to transfer Frogmore Hill to the Duchess of Sussex. The property remains under Crown stewardship, subject to sovereign directive. Translation: not yours, never was, never will be. But the palace statement went further. Royal legal advisor Sir Alaric Mansfield made it clear that any verbal promises made before 2021 were wiped clean the moment Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties in January 2020. And just to make sure there was no confusion, those assurances were legally extinguished under a revised property charter enacted in March 2023. Behind the polished statements and legal jargon, palace aides were furious. They saw this move not as a genuine property claim, but as something far more calculated. A strategic play to destabilize the royal guardianship decision that had just been handed down days earlier. By positioning herself as someone entitled to ancestral assets, Meghan was essentially arguing that she deserved a seat at the table when it came to the children's future. Legal analysts across London and Los Angeles agreed. This wasn't really about the estate, it was about custody, it was about leverage, and it was about reminding the world that Meghan Markle wasn't going anywhere without a fight. Here's where it gets even messier. Buried in Meghan's legal documents was a fascinating argument. Her team suggested that her ability to provide a royal standard residence, something with heritage and gravitas, might actually make her a more suitable guardian than the current arrangement. The implication was clear. If she could secure property like Frogmore Hill, she could argue in American courts that she was just as capable of raising royal children as anyone in Windsor. The palace saw this for exactly what it was, dangerous. One royal insider didn't hold back. She's not asking for a home. She's trying to requalify herself as part of the royal apparatus by proxy. But Meghan's strategy hit a wall faster than anyone expected. Within hours, the California Superior Court's Family Division issued a preliminary ruling that stopped her momentum cold. The court made it clear that claiming entitlement to British sovereign property wouldn't be admissible in matters related to child custody unless it was formally recognized by both the UK Privy Council and His Majesty's Diplomatic Property Register. In plain English, nice try, but no. Dr. Henrietta Acombe, a legal scholar who specializes in transnational family disputes, summed it up perfectly. The California court is signaling that royal property claims do not automatically equate to parental competency. This undermines any narrative where Meghan uses the estate to appear institutionally validated. So what exactly is Frogmore Hill, and why does it matter so much? Originally part of the Highgrove West sector, this estate wasn't just another royal property gathering dust. Queen Elizabeth had designated it in a sealed 2020 letter of intention to be held in reserve for future lineage planning, with Prince Henry Charles Albert David, that's Harry, listed as preliminary trustee. But here's the catch. The formal trusteeship was never enacted. Why? Because just weeks after that letter was written, Harry and Meghan announced they were stepping back from royal duties and moving to North America. The estate went into what's called inactive trust under the Duchy of Cornwall, occasionally used by senior royals during hunting season, but never officially assigned. Fast forward to October 2025. Princess Anne reportedly suggested reassigning Frogmore Hill to Lady Louise Windsor as part of a new initiative called the Sovereign Youth Development Charter. It was a move that would have symbolically closed the door on any Sussex connection to the property. But before that reassignment could be finalized, Meghan filed her claim. The response from the extended royal family was swift and unified. In an unprecedented joint statement, Lady Sarah Chatto, Duchess Sophie, and Viscount Severn spoke from Sandringham, and their words carried weight. What began as a request for autonomy has now become a sustained campaign of institutional provocation. The Sussex brand is no longer a symbol of personal freedom. It is a weapon, and the victims are the children. That statement wasn't just a rebuke, it was a declaration of war, and the palace wasn't done. Royal sources confirmed that a supplemental legal directive was being drafted to permanently bar Meghan Markle from using the Windsor name in any legal claim, property assertion, or media appearance without written consent from the Crown. This was no longer just a custody battle or a property dispute. This was what insiders began calling the post-Sussex Purge, a coordinated effort to legally, financially, and reputationally quarantine Meghan Markle from every remaining structure linked to the Crown. If Meghan thought filing that claim would open the door to negotiations, she was wrong. The door had been slammed shut, bolted from the inside, and the key thrown into the Thames. Within 24 hours of Meghan's property claim being rejected, the royal household launched a full financial review of every asset jointly held during the Sussex marriage. Royal accountants released a comprehensive breakdown. The Montecito Mansion, $14.2 million. 2 Rolls-Royce Cullinans, leased through Archwell. A Range Rover autobiography. A gift from King Charles. Liquid holdings estimated at $4.7 million. Business interests in Archwell Media and Audio. And then, business debts, over $2.3 million in credit liabilities, primarily linked to Meghan's wardrobe expenses, PR campaigns, and brand travel. Meghan's legal team immediately demanded a 50-50 split, citing California's community property law. But the palace pushed back hard. Their argument was simple and devastating. Multiple acquisitions were either sovereign gifts or trust-based allotments tied to Harry's royal status. She cannot both reject the crown and claim its privileges, Sir Alaric Mansfield stated. The monarchy is not a vending machine of wealth for former duchesses. Then came the alimony demand. Meghan requested monthly alimony of $215,000 for 5 years, citing career sacrifices and reputation damage. Harry's legal team responded with a devastating dossier. They produced a waiver Meghan had signed in July 2020, explicitly relinquishing future claims to royal subsidies in exchange for branding freedom. They presented evidence of unreported income from Meghan's 2023 Dubai speaking tour and private sponsorship deals, estimated at $6.1 million. You cannot claim victimhood while profiting from the platform, Harry's attorney Miles Armitage wrote. Alimony is for caretakers, not entrepreneurs in heels. But the warfare didn't stop there. Meghan also filed a motion to reduce Harry's proposed child support. Harry had offered $68,000 per month to cover Archie and Lilibet's full expenses. Meghan rejected it, demanding $122,000 per month with conditions: direct invoice documentation, no extracurriculars unless pre-approved, and full control over the children's digital image rights, including Instagram and potential publishing projects. That last demand sparked outrage. The palace responded immediately with a new clause: no commercial use of Archie and Lilibet's names or likenesses may proceed without dual consent from the Crown and Prince Harry. Then something even more damaging surfaced. Palace legal counsel uncovered a sealed document dated May 2025 called Project Emancipation, a brand deck created by Meghan's marketing team laying out plans to monetize her new identity as a post-royal, post-maternal figure in global wellness markets. And here's what made it so damning. The project specifically excluded her children from the brand's public image. While Meghan was publicly claiming she had sacrificed personal branding to nurture her family, her own internal strategy documents told a completely different story. Public reaction was swift. A Daily Mirror flash poll found that 74% of UK respondents opposed Meghan's estate claim. 61% of US respondents believed she should receive no alimony. 82% supported Harry retaining primary custodial guardianship. Within 48 hours, Vogue Arabia pulled a planned cover feature, Chanel quietly rescinded Meghan's invitation to Paris Fashion Week. Netflix suspended all in-development Sussex-related projects. And then came a moment that cut through all the noise. Princess Catherine, in a soft-spoken but devastatingly powerful public message, said this: "Children are not branding tools. They are not passports to power. They deserve privacy, protection, and peace." She didn't mention Meghan by name. She didn't need to. Stripped of institutional backing and facing financial recalibrations, Meghan made what insiders now call her final gambit, a character assault designed to dismantle Harry's custodial credibility. In a surprise filing with the Santa Barbara Family Law Court, Meghan's legal team submitted a sealed 32-page declaration accusing Prince Harry of historical patterns of emotional volatility, alcohol dependency, and coercive behavior. The document included a psychiatric assessment allegedly identifying signs of untreated PTSD, summaries from emergency therapy sessions, and a statement from a security consultant claiming Harry allegedly threw a mobile phone against a wall during an argument about Archie's school transfer. Meghan requested the immediate suspension of Harry's custodial authority until a court-appointed psychological evaluator could complete a new assessment. The palace response was firm. Prince Harry had successfully completed a 12-week therapy program in 2021, passed all family counseling reviews, and maintained a consistent, clean record of supervised parental conduct since December 2025. "This is weaponized desperation cloaked in concern," Miles Armitage stated. "The Crown does not assign custodial authority lightly." To reinforce their case, Harry's team filed a counter-declaration including audio logs from 3 child welfare mediators who oversaw Harry's video sessions with the children. All 3 attested to Harry's positive engagement and emotional attentiveness. Meghan filed an appeal arguing that royal guardianship protocols could not supersede a biological mother's rights under U.S. federal law. But the move was quickly blunted. The royal household released a signed 2020 Sussex Marital Compact, in which both Harry and Meghan had agreed to custodial oversight by the Crown in the event of marital separation. Legal scholars confirmed this compact was enforceable under dual sovereignty agreements between the UK and US. Meanwhile, Prince William, who had remained almost completely silent, made a quiet visit to the Royal Pediatric Trust in Windsor. A palace aide leaked his offhand remark to the Times: "We don't need headlines. We need peace, and we'll give them that, even if she won't." The British monarchy moved with unprecedented speed. The trigger wasn't just Meghan's courtroom accusations, it was her threat to weaponize digital identity, targeting the children's image rights. The royal household enacted what internal sources called the Windsor Firewall, a coordinated operation to lock down the digital, financial, and symbolic footprint of Meghan Markle. At precisely 6:30 in the morning, the Royal Office of Digital Ethics issued a classified directive to more than 22 platform partners: YouTube, Instagram, Meta, Spotify, Netflix, demanding removal or reclassification of all Sussex-branded content. By noon, more than 380 pieces of content had been flagged or demonetized. Public-facing Sussex material that once dominated royal search algorithms began quietly vanishing. The UK Charities Commission announced formal dissolution proceedings against the Archewell Foundation, citing failure to comply with financial disclosure protocols and irregularities in staff salary disbursements. Perhaps the most symbolic conflict came when Meghan filed a motion demanding sole control of the joint Instagram handle for the children. Harry's legal team responded with a single line: "This is not a brand. These are children." The account was suspended indefinitely. While the press swarmed, something quieter was happening at Windsor. Lady Louise Windsor, just 22, had been elevated by Princess Anne to serve as royal youth liaison to the heirs of Sussex. Louise was given private access to the secure educational compound where the children now resided. Her mandate was clear: ensure emotional stability, shield the children from digital contamination. She was seen arriving at the Royal Learning Centre in Sandringham carrying books, child therapy kits, and a copy of The Little Prince, reportedly Lilibet's favorite story. Princess Catherine delivered a keynote address on protecting childhood in the age of exploitation. "We live in an era where a child's likeness can become currency. That is not parenting. That is projection. And projection is not love." The audience gave a rare standing ovation. Later that day, Kensington Palace released a photograph: Catherine with Charlotte, George, and Louise reading under a tree. Unbranded, unstaged, quietly dignified. The caption simply read, "Let children be children." That night, Meghan's team released a voice memo. If they erase me, I'll expose them. I have emails, recordings, names. Don't push me out of my children's story. But the damage was already done. Spotify delisted all Sussex podcasts. The Netflix deal was terminated. Meghan's scheduled cover feature was replaced by Princess Anne. Two parallel legal chambers opened their doors to begin formal deliberations over custody, London's Family Division and Santa Barbara's Superior Court. 4 critical witnesses gave private depositions. A royal child welfare observer testified to Meghan's noncompliance with check-ins. A child psychologist reported signs of emotional stress in Lilibet. A former Archwell officer confirmed Meghan actively suppressed Harry's input in decisions. And Lady Louise shared a journal documenting Lilibet's recurring question: why do I only see mommy on camera? These testimonies shifted the atmosphere in both courtrooms toward the pressing emotional reality of 2 children caught in spectacle and power. After nearly a month, both courts delivered coordinated rulings. In California, Judge Everett Miles ruled, "This court recognizes the Crown-appointed guardianship structure as valid and enforceable." In London, Justice Rowena Blackstone stated, "The Crown assumes direct custodial oversight in partnership with the biological father. The mother is hereby suspended from sole custodial decision-making for 5 years." The result? Joint institutional custody between Prince Harry and the Crown. Princess Catherine as day-to-day guardian, Duchess Sophie as liaison for external affairs. Meghan's access was reduced to 1 supervised video call per week and in-person visitation once per quarter. No legal authority to enroll the children in schools, authorize media appearances, or make travel decisions. In a separate decision, the Court of Royal Titles ruled that Meghan was permanently barred from using any Windsor-related designation in commercial, philanthropic, or political activities. Archwell Foundation was dissolved. Its remaining assets would be redistributed to children's welfare charities. Prince Harry was quietly spotted leaving Heathrow. No cameras, no entourage, just a black coat, a canvas bag, and a small Paddington bear toy. He spent the afternoon with Princess Anne reviewing the children's education plans. For the first time since Megxit, Harry slept inside royal grounds without tension or controversy. Back in California, Meghan remained visibly absent. Her Netflix deal canceled, Spotify voided, fashion endorsements terminated. An internal leak from her PR agency revealed a grim assessment. "We cannot rebuild while litigation and custody failures dominate the narrative. We must go dark," and she did. All social media went silent. Her website redirected to a static page. No new interviews, no appeals. For the first time in years, Meghan Markle was not trending. She was gone. Princess Anne delivered the final message from Sandringham. "The matter has closed. The children are safe. The future is guarded by principle, not power. We do not erase. We protect." That evening, Catherine was photographed at a children's hospice, placing a handwritten note beside a teddy bear. It read, "For every child who felt watched, let them now feel seen with love, not strategy." The House of Windsor had reasserted its core doctrine: duty before drama, protection over profit, legacy before ego. Meghan Markle's royal story had reached its institutional endpoint. There would be no redemption tour, no resurrection, no revival. And for Prince Harry, the final chapter remains unwritten. But this time not on camera. In the end, this wasn't just a custody battle. It was a collision between 2 worlds, one built on centuries of tradition, protocol, and institutional memory, the other built on branding, influence, and the belief that personal narrative could override legacy. The children, Archie and Lilibet, became the focal point of that collision, and when the dust settled, the institution chose silence over spectacle, structure over chaos, and protection over publicity. Whether history will judge this moment as justice or tragedy depends on who's telling the story. But for now, the story has stopped. The cameras have turned off, and 2 children, finally, have a chance to just be children.